Welcome back to the channel, folks. My name's Trevon. I work with Century 21 Mike Bowman, and this is Moving to Tejas. Today we are going to talk about 25 cities that maybe are more beneficial financially and just as far as growth for the youth. And then we're also going to touch on some of the larger cities where most of the youth are moving to. And then in this case, youth is going to be Gen Z. So let's begin. All right. Top of the article by Money Geek. Shout out them. Where should Gen Z live? So young adults are seizing new opportunities to shape their paths as they navigate a rapidly changing world. According to Ernst & Young, nearly a third of Gen Z already feels financially secure, and 39% earn income from both a job and side hustle. Discovering the U.S. cities where young adults are experiencing the most success and well-being may help you capitalize on these wins and even inform where you choose to live. So Money Geek analyzed data for 138 cities with 100,000 or more residents on factors including income, home ownership rates, young adult population, student loan burdens, and access to entertainment, dining to identify places where young adults can thrive. Our analysis found that the West is home for the most affordable cities for those under 25, while the Northeast and Midwest tend to offer more challenging environments. So I'm not going to touch too detailed on some of these specific cities. What I really want to touch on is how many of these cities are in Texas that are on this list. And you're going to see as I go through it, it's going to kind of give you the illustration of why we are seeing the growth we are seeing in Texas, why it probably won't stop. And if you're hearing the noise on the outside as far as the news, I think that their agenda might be correct on the broad scale things like New York, Florida, California, places where home values are already skyrocketing, where the average price to buy a home is quite expensive. You're starting to see people trickle away from those areas and move towards Tejas. So, I mean, just in this list here below, we have how many cities? So 25 of these cities. We have Amarillo, Lubbock. Okay, that's not Texas. Abilene, Waco, Round Rock, Corpus Christi, Brownsville. So these are cities for ages under 25 to move where possibly it can be more financially healthy for you to thrive there. So I think that paints a real good picture because you've seen the transformation, what's happening in Abilene. Of course, these are to a degree college cities, but I'm surprised San Marcos isn't on this list, but still, I guess it just doesn't have the development as far as these cities, but I'm sure that city is not far behind. But I really wanted to touch over where it states the largest. Okay, so overall best cities for young adults to financially thrive. 3 of the top 5 cities where young adults can thrive are in the West, with Salt Lake City taking the top spot. Between 2012 and 2022, Salt Lake City saw 41% growth in its young adult population and holds the lowest federal student loan debt per borrower at $11,000. Boise, Idaho, and Las Cruces, New Mexico rank among the cities where young homeowners face the least financial burden when it comes to housing costs, including mortgages and utilities. Notably, the Las Cruces young adult population rose 44% in the same period, the highest among all cities in the Midwest. Des Moines, Iowa, ranks 3rd overall with just 32% of the young adult burden by rent. So not going to go too detailed in this specific one, but just touching on here, Abilene, Texas, another area where you're starting to see the population boom. I only wanted to touch on this, just Abilene, Texas, just to stay on top of the same narrative where we're seeing so much influx come to the area, and this is just another reason why. Main part of this article I wanted to highlight is going to be the best cities among the 10 largest. Okay, so among the 10 populous US cities, Phoenix, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin rank in the top third of all cities analyzed. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. And that really just should also kind of put the nail down, just stating why we are seeing the growth we are seeing. Do we expect it to slow down? Do we expect prices to drop where we live in this area? So if you're in the Austin, Texas area, if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, if you're in the San Antonio, Texas area, if you're in the Houston, Texas area, and you're waiting for prices to go down, and you're shopping under 800,000, in most cases, it's not going to happen, right? We've hit that nail point. Now, I can't say for San Antonio's market and Houston's market just because I've not done real estate in those markets. So I don't want to act like I'm an expert on those markets. But just based on the macro data for Texas, we hit a downtrend last year. Still somewhat of a downtrend. You're seeing a lot of price decreases to a degree. Now, they're still walking away with a lot of equity, but you are seeing price decreases. So I think this is painting a clear picture why we are seeing the influx that we are seeing if we live in these areas, why we are seeing the amount of development if we live in these areas, especially DFW. And then I've done a video a long time ago, and it was about basically this big triangle, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, and Austin. And this area is just going to become more dense and more dense with more development, and it's actually going to be a site to see down the line years from now. So don't know exactly, of course, some plans don't fall through, but if you're paying attention to any of the details of what's happening in the area, especially these Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, you're seeing an amount of development that is quite staggering, and it doesn't seem to slow down. Phoenix, they did take the top spot, and in second place was Austin, Texas, and third place was Dallas, Texas. Fourth place was San Antonio, Texas, and fifth place was Houston, Texas. So we're beating out places like San Diego, California, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, New York. So to see this, it's going to just indicate, I feel, a positive thing in the market, right? I don't think prices are going to skyrocket astronomically. I think they're just going to steadily increase. So this is just the youth, right? If you do, I also did a video a couple days ago where the average buyer is above the age of 35. So it doesn't necessarily mean these people are buying homes. It just shows you that these people are moving to these areas, and it's typically because the job market that is hiring, they're looking for the youth, right, fresh out of college, Ivy League schools or whatever, and they're positioning their companies in these cities, therefore bringing the population to these cities, therefore bringing the infrastructure, and all of that comes with it. Keeping this video short, this is just going to give you a highlight on why I think the DFW region is such a good region to even start investing in. I mean, if you're waiting to invest, I would get on the ball and start making moves. There's a lot of opportunity in Fort Worth, Dallas, lots of opportunity in the outskirts, Springtown, your Rome, Texas area, and these areas who have not really hit full infrastructure development. So if you are looking in these areas, the DFW Metroplex, maybe even Austin, feel free to check the description. My phone number, contact information will be there in the bottom. If you are liking the content, if you're feeling the vibe, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you are living in one of these areas and you feel the change and what your thoughts are about it, right? I lived in Austin for a little bit and saw, 6-7 years, and saw what it was doing, which I love to see it, but there were people that already had lived in Austin 10-15 years who were hating it. Depending on which lane you are, it can be a pro and a con, but I'm one that is optimistic. And since I'm a real estate agent, this is good news for the real estate market in DFW. But yeah, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, later.